let's see how this goes. Yeah, I guess it's still converting. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. Yo. Welcome to Red River Podcast, episode 110. This is still the best of 2021.
Nice.
We're doing TV shows right now, and we have a return guest, Jon Cox, in the house. What's going on?
What up?
Nothing, man. How you guys doing? I missed all of you guys.
I know.
Good,
yeah.
I think
the last time we were going to get together was for the Star Wars thing, and that never happened because it was at the very beginning of COVID.
Yes, it was. It's kind of bummed it didn't happen. I still have all my notes and everything all my research I did for that episode. So if we ever do it, we'll still have my stuff.
We're definitely going to do that because Dave keeps bothering me about it, and I'm sure Neil does too.
That would be awesome.
So so far we've done, the best rock records, best hip hop records. We just did best movies of the year. So now we're going to talk a little bit about TV shows, which is like kind of what everyone talks about these days. Like movies are still a big deal, but now it's about these limited series, and shows. I have a show that, has been around forever on one of my lists, but people love TV shows. People love these Netflix series, these Amazon series, and there's a shit ton of them. So I personally have 7 on my list. I don't know what anyone else has.
I did a top 5, but I do have a page full of honorable mentions in here. So
okay, yeah,
other ones I didn't put on my 5, but really things that really stuck out and I really enjoyed. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So then I'll do 2 honorable mentions. So what we'll do is we'll keep it to 5, and we'll like whatever, anything above 5 will be an honorable mention. So being our guest, give us the honorable mentions, John, that you have.
Okay. So my honorable mentions are going to be, I don't know if you're familiar with Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like a sketch type of thing. It's these 3 Australian guys, and it's definitely reminiscent of, Kids in a Hole or Mr. Show or something like that. But I think there's another show on Netflix, which is on my top 5, that is doing something like that a little bit better. But the Auntie Donna's, I can't. Every time I watch it, I'm gonna laugh so hard I'm gonna start crying. So
awesome.
So I think it's good. Yeah.
Anything else?
The honorable mention. I mean, I don't know if you're lumping reality contest shows into this.
No, whatever.
Any kind of series or
doesn't matter.
That runs like that. That's not a film that basically we throw in there. So
okay, all right, cool. So then it's Lego Masters on Channel 5 on Fox, whatever it is.
All right, that's amazing. Anything besides that? Next. I'm just kidding.
Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler have that Making It, which is like it's a reality game show, but it's like crafting and the sense of humor is awesome. It's just really good. It's a warm show. So
those 2 are amazing. Like, I mean, on, like those 2.
Oh yeah, Nick Offerman is God. He's amazing.
Did you? Okay, so he's God, right? So did you watch his movie Hearts Beat Loud?
No, but it is on my list, and everybody tells me that you got to see it. You got to see it. So
you got it. Like as a musician, you have to see it.
Sam's got stock in that movie. I'm pretty convinced.
Yo, that movie's awesome. That movie's so good.
You are the champion of that movie.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, but I every time I see it on Hulu, I'm like, God damn it, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to give in to Sam's fucking demands here. But
and then I only had one other honorable mention, which was Genlock on HBO. You guys know how obsessed I am with Voltron and all that bullshit.
Well, email.
Yeah, exactly. There's a show on Netflix on HBO Max now, and it's the animation is unreal. It's very reminiscent of Voltron, but if you're into anime and that type of thing too, I think it's great. It's definitely worth checking out.
I remember having the come on, those the Voltron,
the like, Lions, baby.
The actual toy, like they connected so fucking nice. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang rep on hard.
They did, man. They definitely did.
Parker, do you have any honorable mentions aside from
I do, yeah. So Pen 15 season 3, I watched that. I talked about that show a couple episodes ago. And it's about like junior high, these 2 girls that are in junior high together, but it's it's great because these actresses, they're not in junior high, like they're playing younger kids, but they're their own age, so it's kind of goofy in that way. But this was the last season. So that was one of them. Another one was Young Rock. I got to give my boy fucking Dwayne the Rock Johnson. He had his show come out, and this talks about him growing up. Oh yeah, him growing up. Being shuffled around from different schools, and then playing football for University of Miami. His father being a professional wrestler.
On what is this on?
This is on NBC, I think it's on. But then
it's Everybody Hates Chris, right? Like that kind of a format.
But then I'm catching it on Hulu pretty much. I think I'm watching it.
Hulu's great, man.
Hulu's great. Hulu's fucking fantastic for stuff like that. Yeah.
Black Summer season 2.
That was so good.
The first season was great. This one was just as good. They kind of focused on like this lodge that they stayed at. You wasn't sure like if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but season 3, they're already prepping for that. So I'm excited about that. Squid Game. I got into that real late, like real fucking late. And, kind of took a while to get into it, like falling asleep, like halfway through the first like 2 episodes, and then it finally clicked, and I was just like, all right, cool, like I get this. And then like by the last episode, I just didn't want it to end, don't want to ruin anything, and then another one that I just got into recently that I heard good things about, and I got into this show, and I'm just like, man, I'm like, every episode I watch of this show, I want to hate it, but I can't hate it. I don't know, there's just something about it, and the main reason why I got into it was our friend fucking Cole Hauser is in it.
Yeah.
So this show called Yellowstone.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, what do I care about cowboys and country music? I don't care about any of that shit. I don't even fucking like Kevin Costner that much, honestly. But I really don't. But
I hate this show, but I love it.
I'm telling you, there's just something about it, and then they like involve, the American Indians want to open up like a casino, and Kevin Costner owns this land, and then like all these different factions come in. But Cole, I mean, if you thought that Cole Hauser was a fucking asshole and Dazed and Confused, you've seen nothing yet. So that's the main reason why I got into the show.
Yeah, people love Yellowstone. Like, I have a lot of friends that are really into that, and I listen. Yeah. Any son of Wings Hauser is okay with me. So
that's it.
Shout out to Cole. You got that's it.
Yeah, I tried.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. John.
Oh no, I was just saying about Yellowstone. I really tried it. I tried it, and I couldn't get into it.
Maybe you didn't hate it. Maybe you didn't hate enough things about it.
That's the thing. It wasn't so bad. It was good, so I couldn't keep watching it. But I understand why people like it. It was definitely fun, but it just didn't bite me. Squid Games, like Brian was talking about, same thing, man. It took me a couple episodes. I really think I should have just watched it in the original Japanese with the subtitles instead of I watched it with the subtitles. Not subtitles. I watched it with the dub, and that was probably my first friggin' mistake. And it took me a while to get into it, but definitely at the end, it's really weird is because like when you look at a lot of those Korean shows, they're not built like American shows. They're built for like one-off seasons, and that's how a lot of Koreans watch TV. It's like a season at a time, and Squid Games is like the first one to really kind of like open up to like American style, where like, oh, there's a cliffhanger at the end of the last episode, and we're going to bring back more eventually. Like they left it wide open. Now I wouldn't see why they wouldn't bring back another season, but yeah, I enjoyed Squid Games. It didn't make it to my top 5 though.
Yeah, it's definitely something that made it to mine. So I'll talk about it then. Langan, do you have honorables?
So we're going to get in depth on what, 5, our top 5?
We're going to get in depth on 5. Yep.
All right. So I'll just rattle off the ones I had, because I had 10 together, but I'll just rattle these off. I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. It's
funny. So funny.
So funny. Great cameos. Sam Richardson, Patty Harrison, Tim Heidecker, Bob Odenkirk, Will Forte. Everybody's on this. If you like really irreverent, like not to lump it in, but like a Tim and Eric, really just kind of absurdity. But also like a little Kids in the Hall too. Totally. Yeah. But very funny sketch comedy. 9, I had Black Summer. We spoke about that. It's The Walking Dead that I wish I had. Very bleak, very dystopian, and just like ape shit crazy and frantic, like it would be if there was an apocalypse. Then people, getting together and camping together or whatever. No, number 8, the Untold series on Netflix. It's the sports. They were sports documentaries. They did one on that hockey team, the Trashers or whatever. Did you see that, Sam?
Yeah, it's on my list for tomorrow. The documentaries.
Oh, okay, yeah. They did. There's a great one on Christy Martin, the female boxer.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of, the Caitlyn Jenner one was like probably the weakest, only because I know that story, and all the other things like the tennis player with the mental problems and stuff. Those were all stories I never heard before, but they did a great job on that.
Untold's great.
I got Q, Into the Storm from HBO. I guess that's probably a documentary too, but I had it as a limited series, you know, so it's kind of like a gray area there. But
I'm not hating.
I'm sure we all know what that's about. It's just absurd and insane, like these uber villains that you couldn't create in a script. These guys, it's ridiculous.
Did you watch that, John?
No, I didn't, and I wanted to. It's definitely on my list.
It's insane.
Yeah, you shouldn't even. You shouldn't even be on this podcast right now. You should hang up and
go watch it.
Yeah.
I listened to a really good Q Conspiracy podcast about this guy he's a British war journalist, and he gets embedded with some of the Q people, and it's called Q Clearance, and this dude does an amazing job. Like Langan was said, man, it's mind blowing how crazy it goes, like how deep it goes, and how stupid some people can be.
Yeah, these 6 episodes, you're just like. It's a mind melter.
When you see like what could actually be behind all this, it's just jaw dropping that so many people, this internet culture could create. I don't know. I really don't have words for it.
There are no words for it, but yeah. It's the ultimate like hustle for sure.
And the last one I'll mention real quick is I had this on the bubble, either 5 or 6, but I'll probably give it to White Lotus from HBO. I know some people liked it, some people hated it. I thought it was great. But written by Mike White, who did Chuck and Buck and a whole bunch of other stuff. He wrote School of Rock, and Jennifer Coolidge. She's getting a lot of attention in it. But this guy Murray Bartlett that plays the manager is fantastic in it. I know it's great.
Yeah, a lot of people loved it. Like my girlfriend loved it, and I tried watching it, and like I love Alexandra Daddario. I watch anything she but it just didn't connect with me on those episodes.
It's very dry. It can be very slow sometimes, but I
was looking for a
real
meaning.
Quality to it.
Yeah.
But it goes pretty off the wall by the end, by the time the manager starts. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say anything, but anyway, those are my honorables.
Cool. I have 3 in my honorables. Black Summer. Like we mentioned before, is just wow, like that is the Walking Dead that we all deserved for sure. Because it's fucking batshit. Like you can't even follow what the fuck is going on because it's fucking that crazy. Very well done. Very, very well done. Better than the first season. Then Always Sunny in Philadelphia came back with the 15th season. They were only up to number 8 right now, and it's fucking phenomenal. It's so good. The last episode that just came out, they were all in Ireland for like the last few episodes. It's still just so well written. There was an episode where like Dennis was like trying to kick it to like liberal girls that didn't want him, and then conservative girls that didn't want him, and then like he's just like trying to figure out how to like crack the code, and then he goes to like you just see him like on the last girl, like he's just like repeating everything she says, and it's so sinister because he's just like, wait a minute, he's like, all they want to do is hear themselves talk, so I just repeat everything that they say, and they think that I'm very like, and then that's how he gets the girl. Fucking brilliant stuff. Very brilliant, very timely stuff. Just so good. And then my third and last honorable mention is a show called Made for Love, which was on HBO. Man, it's this like Elon Musk type dude that creates this like universe. It's like this like virtual reality universe that he lives on, and the girl that he's with leaves him, and he's trying to get her back. Only he doesn't want to leave this world, and she doesn't want to go back. And then like Ray Romano's her dad, who has a relationship with like a real, it's very, very unique. And I feel like a lot of people missed it, and I loved it. Did you watch it, or is it on your list?
I heard it was good.
I watched it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It gave me like that, you know how sometimes those episodes of Black Mirror will give you like that fucked up, like, oh shit, this is the world we're heading towards. It was like that, but like comedy, actually.
Very,
like,
it was a little lighter than Black Mirror, but definitely in that world for sure. Cool.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off. Give me your number 5 show of 2021, Jon.
Okay, let's go to the notes I have here.
Let's go to the videotape.
Let's go to the videotape. It was what Langan said before. I couldn't agree more. Like, it was my number 5 was I Think You Should Leave. The Tim Robinson show on Netflix. It's just, to me, it's hysterical. There's something about that show, just it's aimed directly at me. And the sense of humor, definitely, that like Langan was saying, Tim and Eric, but there's also some early Mr. Show in there and some early, Kids in the Hall, and he just doesn't give a fuck. There's no like, it just doubled down this season too. This season was even more crazy than the last season, and he just like doesn't give a fuck, and it's great. And the cameos, like Bob Odenkirk, that Bob Odenkirk cameo blew me away. Will Forte,
you find yourself laughing at the most absurd shit, but you don't even like, even if something isn't technically funny, his face really sells it. Because I'm like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's just something about it. I could just look at him and just watch him and fucking start crying, hysterically laughing.
Yeah. Cool. Parker, give me your number 5.
So off of Netflix, I did The Movies That Made Us. Most recent season.
Yeah.
So
good one.
You had Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. They show Aliens. It was a whole
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, it was a whole horror, echelon, and it was great. They showed behind the scenes, old interviews. They showed updated interviews, and Aliens, as a few of you know, is like in the top 10 of like my movies, like period. So I love learning everything I can about that movie. So I'm looking forward to hopefully a couple more seasons of this show, because every one is just better than the last.
Are you done learning by now? Like, do you think
I definitely learned that Vasquez is still like incredibly not good looking. So that's what I've learned.
Wow, threw her under the bus.
Even if you were marooned on a ship with her, like for 20 or 30 years. I
think I'd rather have sex with, what was the guy's name? Duke, the workout partner guy. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah.
I will take Vasquez for sure if it's between those two. I just want to throw that out there.
She put some passion into it,
and it took me forever, like when I realized that she was in Terminator 2.
Terminator 2, yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, she's not a Vasquez for real.
And Near Dark, white lady. I remember she was in Near Dark also.
Yeah, for sure. She a lot of cool stuff. Wolfie's just fine. Langan, number 5.
My number 5 is a limited series from Netflix called Sons of Sam. It was about the Son of Sam killer, but the theory about how he didn't act alone, basically. And I remember hearing about this story so much because my grandfather was from Yonkers, so he lived up in that neighborhood. And I remember hearing the stories of Sons of Sam and everything, obviously before my day. But the whole theory that this guy Maury Terry that investigated it presents about, there was multiple people, there was a cult involved, and he had all these really interesting facts, things I didn't know about. But it also gets into this guy Maury Terry, who wrote the book Ultimate Evil. If you watched any like Donahue or Geraldo or whatever in the Satanic Panic of the 80s, you saw this guy. He was the go-to guy on all these shows, but he got so obsessed with this case, like it ruined his life. Like he ended up, it was about his passion too, an obsession with this case that like basically everything came undone for him. And I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, the one thing about situations like this is like if enough time has passed between these events, you know, it's like it just gives people so much time to theorize, you know. It's just like
Sure.
it's like when you hear like anything that comes up about like, you know, Jack the Ripper, I'm just like, oh boy, what now?
Well, this guy wrote, you know, he had these theories back then, and he felt that the police didn't investigate it properly because the police force in New York was on the verge of a strike, and they basically needed a win in the papers because everybody was terrified of this thing.
Yeah.
And he had this theory like early on, and a lot of the facts he presents are interesting, but
good.
It's a great true crime doc,
which I love. Which as soon as
Who
we're done,
doesn't? It's so American right now.
As soon as we're
We
done with
love
this,
true crime.
I'm gonna watch the Times Square Killer thing.
No doubt.
So my number 5 is Squid Games. Squid Games is fucking amazing. Okay. I know a lot of people maybe weren't like used to like the absurdity of some of these you know, of the type of stuff that they do. I actually listened to it via the dub. The dub didn't bother me as ridiculous as the voices were. Like in the very beginning, I was like, yeah, what? Who's coming up? Like it was just so over the top. But like after an episode, I got into it.
Nobody's ever got a dub right. Like it's never been better. It's never.
But it's very bad in this. It's very bad.
Yeah.
You'll never get better than the initial actors' inflections, even if you don't understand the word. Like there's something missing.
Sometimes at night I want to watch stuff and like I don't feel like reading the TV and like I just want to hear.
I get it. You hate to read. I get it.
That's it. I mean, you know, that's what it is. But this show is just great. Like from the very beginning, just dead body after dead body. You know, it basically, you know, to see rich people have poor people kill each other for their enjoyment. I mean, that's basically what it is, you know? And it's just, you kind of figure, you knew where it was going probably towards the end and stuff, but it was just so unique and very cool. And I feel like everyone really started watching that show all together because that's all everyone would talk about. You know, if you're used to like Asian cinema or like that world, like it's very much par for what they normally do. There was a movie that I loved called 13 Game of Death, which it reminded me of.
I was trying to think of that film, the name the other day. Yeah,
that's a fucking great movie. Like,
awesome.
So that I knew it was in that realm. So when it came out and it was on Netflix, which Netflix is amazing because like you could put something on Amazon, you could put something on anything, whatever. But it, like once you put it on Netflix, even if it's an older movie or whatever, people are like, oh, I'm going to watch it now. It's like the power of Netflix is undeniable. I mean, look at Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5, man. I love Squid Games. If there's a season 2, I'll probably watch it, but I hope there isn't, to be honest with you. So, John, give me your number 4.
Number 4 is Foundation on Apple TV. It's basically like a reboot of Asimov's like seminal classic first novel, Foundation. And it just looks like they spent $1 billion on every episode. The one thing I really like about the vibe of the whole thing is like it's very like, you know, those old pulp science fiction book covers, like with the bad drawings and stuff. It does that, but in a really modern, interesting way. So everything has like its own unique look to it. I think the storyline's great. Jared Harris, who plays Harry Seldon, the main character in Foundation, he was in Chernobyl. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he played like that one reporter that got sick. That was basically like doing
the one on HBO.
Yes.
Yeah, that show was crazy.
That was great. Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, so Jared Harris plays Harry Seldon, the main character in Foundation, and there's 2 female leads. The only thing about it is you really you gotta like buckle up and really pay attention to everything because it gets a little esoteric and it just gets a little, you know, convoluted in some spots. But I really love what they did with it. It's just, you know, it's a story that I've always loved, and now I'm seeing it being treated with, you know, modern special effects and really good story writing. So yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Cool. Yeah, Apple TV's got some gems on there too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Parker, number 4.
So we were just talking about Netflix. So this is off of Netflix. The show's called You. And I got back into it. I watched the first season, and then I had started the second season and kind of fell off. So I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'm just gonna start from the beginning, just watch all this shit again. And the second season, not to ruin it, it's similar to the first. He finds, a new girl, and then towards the end of the second season into the third season, you could see that she's becoming a lot like him. She starts, having, violent mood swings, and she starts to become, very, very obsessive towards him. The third season actually was very good. I didn't think it was going to be, they buy a house and they actually have like a kid together, but third season was very good. So if you haven't checked out the show, it's not one of those shows that's going to go downhill, towards, the next couple seasons, but the third season, I definitely dug.
Yeah, that's big show for Netflix. Like everyone, when that season drops, that's a lot of people talk about it. And I think I watched 10 minutes of the first episode, never went back. Langan, number 4.
Number 4, I got the latest season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, season 11.
Yeah, Karen's loving that.
Yeah, you forget how 11 seasons, how consistently fucking funny that show has been. And it never misses. And has there ever been a more unexpected, fantastic comedy duo than Larry David and JB?
Yeah,
I mean, it works so great. I could listen to those guys like in a car ride, like just talking shit for an hour. And they work so well together. The fact that the whole story, how Leon just slid into that house and he's still there. Like, I don't even know how many seasons ago.
I don't know. I was watching one just recently where like, I guess like they had a fat roofer and they thought that he ate like his ice cream. It was just so, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
It's Curb. It's fantastic. And he's still churning out quality shit, man. Susie Essman is another scene stealer too, though. She's
man. She's awesome.
Amazing.
She's so awesome.
And her and JB get a lot of screen time in this season, so it's great. And Tracy Ullman's in it, and she's great.
I'm gonna kick it back to Netflix. Narcos season 3 of Mexico. Man, listen, if you ask me, I'm a big fan of violence. I'm a big fan of drugs. I'm a big fan of guns.
Check.
You know what I mean? Like this has everything. Like if you like true crime stuff and cartel stuff, I mean, I think Narcos Colombia had 3 seasons, and this is the last season for Narcos Mexico. Like the El Chapo stuff and all these like characters, but it's so well done, and these guys just do such a great job with the casting, just fucking great. Like just really. Like 10 episodes on like the kind of how like El Chapo came into power, and kind of like every region has a conflict, and that's what this shows. Like kind of like how did these cartels end up being at war? How did they become like seizing so much power? Why did it break up into different territories? So to me that part was interesting, because it just you see like how these conflicts started and how it got escalated so to where it is now, which is probably terrible down there. I have no idea. So I only watch it on TV. I'm sure it's terrible. So shout out to my Mexican fans down there somewhere. Cool. John, give me your number 3.
Number 3 is another show on Apple TV. C. It's another science fiction show, guys.
You
so
fuck with
science fiction. Yeah. Oh, I do. I fucks with it hard. So this is Jason Momoa's show. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. Usually when I talk about the show, people have no idea anything about this show.
Oh, the big hot guy.
Nice.
Yeah, the big hot dude. Yeah, it's totally. I just want to feel safe in his arms.
Yeah.
It's like this post-apocalyptic Game of Thrones. It's really, really well done. Great premise. There's a plague that goes around in the future and kills off 3/4 of the population, and then everybody else is blind, and that's it. Just blind people are just reproducing for years after years.
It's called C, like C,
yes.
with a C or
no, SEE.
Oh, okay.
Like you're seeing with your eyes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but yeah, Jason Momoa's in it. He's the main character. He's his tribal leader. He's unreal. Like the violence and the choreography is nuts. The fight scenes are great. And this season, for season 2, they actually brought out Dave Bautista to play his like estranged brother, who's another warlord. And it was really awesome. Like I love Bautista. He pulled me in Blade Runner. Like he was in the first 10 minutes of the Blade Runner reboot. And I just thought he was amazing. And I loved him in Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, but it was a really good show. I'm just definitely into it. I thought this season was really good. I don't know if I liked it as much as season 1, but I highly recommend it. Anybody that's into like science fiction, fantasy, I really recommend that show.
I like plague stuff, and I like post-apocalyptic stuff, like that, where I mean, it, especially now, it just feels like something that could happen.
Could actually happen. Yeah.
So things like that, like when I like when COVID first hit, I watched Contagion, and I was just like, yo, this is brutal, but I'm gonna keep watching. That movie is brutal, though.
I know
it
was
that shit spread pretty bad. Any post-apocalyptic stuff. So I'll definitely look into that. I have Apple Plus or Apple TV.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. There's one other thing I want to talk real quick about that show is the fact that I love when a TV series or anything, a movie, can come up with a lovable villain. Like Darth Vader was the ultimate lovable villain, and there were a lot of reasons why. And I feel like a lot of times when they make villains, they just make them completely hateable, and that does nothing for anybody. To me, there's no redeeming value in that. In C, there's a male villain. His name is Tamaki Jun, and I just love the way it's like a bad guy that you can really respect. And I think that's kind of like missing from a lot of movies and TVs these days. Is like a faceted villain,
like Tony Soprano.
Nice.
Yeah.
Parker until the last season. I mean, everyone hated Tony Soprano. I'm like, yo, did he just kill his nephew? That's fucked up. But Parker, give me number 3.
All right, so this is off of FX, I think, but I've been watching it on Hulu, and it's What We Do in the Shadows, season 3.
Oh, yeah.
So this fucking show, man.
Great show.
Probably the funniest season so far. Every season is funnier than the last. Kristen Shaw from Bob's Burgers is in this season, and she just has one of those fucking voices that exactly who it is. Yeah, so she brought definitely some good stuff to it. And if you haven't seen the show, it's pretty much about 3 vampires who live in Staten Island. There's an energy vampire who's a human, but he's just annoying to the fact that he sucks your energy away. And it's filmed a lot like, The Office. It's kind of has that Office humor or Parks and Rec, stuff like that. I still haven't seen the movie, but I mean, I definitely got to see it. But the fucking show is fucking hysterical. I never go longer than 5 minutes without laughing at that show.
Yeah.
Karen, that's a good one.
Karen, my girlfriend started watching it, and she's been obsessed with it. So much so that for Halloween, she made me we dressed up, I guess, like Nadja and that other guy. Yeah.
Fucking Guillermo?
No, Guillermo. The guy that she's with, I guess, the other guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name. Guillermo's the.
You got to show the pride, man. Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I can't wait to tell Karen that. I'm like, yeah, he thought that I dressed up as the fat maid. All right, Langan, number 3.
My number 3. You might have this on your documentary list tomorrow, Sam, but I have it as a limited series. The Making of a Supervillain, the Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh wow, no, I'm gonna add that.
Okay. Now I'm not a fan of his music whatsoever, but I respect the hustle. I respect because he's really an unlikable, like this, not a lot to like, but I do respect that this character he created, and basically the story of him getting in over his head with, co-opting this gang representation and not really, being about that life, and then kind of getting in over his head, and the whole musical come up, but it's a statement on, the social media and marketing today, and what what's possible, what people are capable of doing. But fascinating. And this is somebody that has no interest in his music, even though I get probably why a young kid would bump it. You know what I mean? But
I get it. Because when I listen to it, it really does sound like Onyx. And one day I saw video footage of him playing somewhere in Chicago, and there was like 10-20,000 people jumping up and down.
Right.
And like, I get it. Like, I get the youth culture that is like
Right.
someone would watch Turnstile and be like, I don't get it. Like, but yeah, you do get it. You like, if you're moving that many people, like you're doing something. And even if I don't really love it, like you're doing something. You can't, no one could like Scorpions could play tomorrow and people wouldn't give a shit that much. You know? I don't know why.
I don't know if that's the best. I don't know if that's a good big reference. Scorpions.
Yeah, like wins a change. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best representation. You're right. I'm gonna.
There's a whole podcast. There's a whole podcast.
About the Scorpions.
Totally about the Scorpions, about the Wind of Change being an actual song written by
the
CIA or something.
Yeah. That's
no,
the
I just thought that was
thing.
funny that you brought up the Scorpions. Yeah.
Well, you know, we
Tekashi 6ix9ine, the Scorpions. It's a logical.
Yeah, you know, it's a short drive.
Bridge.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, what band could move a crowd? The Scorpions.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, I'm gonna actually.
I love that was the first one you pulled out.
I have no idea why. But since the documentary is going to play right after this, I'm gonna I guess it's funny because I'm gonna mention Supervillain in the next part. Doesn't matter because that is a great one. So am I up again? I don't even know.
Yes,
I'm up. Okay,
number
so
3.
my number 3 is the show Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso season 2. Man, I remember Neil Rubenstein was on the show and he was talking about how much the show Ted Lasso was good, blah, blah, blah. He's like, it's a feel-good show. I was like, what does that even mean? I don't even understand. Once I started watching Ted Lasso, it's really hard to describe where shows like It's Always Sunny and Married with Children, shows like that really kind of like showcase like the worst in people. Ted Lasso, for some reason, like there is never really a bad turn. It's always about like motivating it. Like, I don't know. It has
heart.
It has heart,
right?
Heart. Yeah.
That's the, and honestly, like I Ted Lasso is my number 1. So like, you know, what I was going to say about that was, you know, it really reminds me of a Britcom. In Britcoms, they have a lot of heart. There's always something. So it's never just like, you know, about like you said, It's Always Sunny and like, you know, American raunchy comms or you know, Letterkenny, or maybe that's a bad reference, but you know, there's definitely like a heart there. There's like something going on there underneath.
Yeah, like where you expect like, you know, his boss to be a dick or like someone to like, you know, fuck his wife back home or like just the characters are just so goddamn likable. And I love Bill Lawrence. I love Scrubs. I love that he created it. Him and Sudeikis, like I can't say enough about the 2 seasons of Ted Lasso. The first one might have been better, but this one really explored.
I was going to say, I'm with the show still, but I did like the first season better. I thought the first one kind of came out of nowhere with that kind of feel good thing we're talking about. I felt like the second season was a little aware of that, but there was some really good stuff in it though. So the Coach Beard episode.
I
loved that.
That was fucking crazy.
Yes.
That was so good. Yeah. That
was really good turn. I know the Christmas episode was written in after. I know the whole particulars and that. Some people said it felt out of place, blah, blah, blah. But I thought I don't want to say anything if people haven't watched it, but there's like a villain turn sort of one of the characters that felt a little forced.
No, but I liked it because through the whole season, it was subtle and it was like this buildup. And he would do these little things that like it's just like it was just like piling up and piling up and piling up,
right? And
then he has this you know, this kind of like lack of self-esteem where he just, he always feels less than. So it kind of makes sense, but man, I love it. Roy Kent, I mean, like, what a character. Is Roy Kent not the fucking best? Like, he just grunts. Character. Yeah, man. Like,
yeah.
When his niece's daughter and his niece's like breath smelled. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
Oi, fuck. So that's my number 3. We'll talk about it again when John mentions it for his number 1. But so number 2, John.
Yes, we're back to Netflix. This is something that just popped out a couple of weeks ago. It's the live action reboot of Cowboy Bebop, the anime series from like the late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know if you're my age, you probably remember, watching it on Adult Swim. It was on like after Aqua Teen Hunger Force. A good buddy of mine got me into it, and I'm not a huge anime fan. Like, I don't really know too much about, the manga or any of the anime or stuff like this, but this show is just something I latched onto because it's got a simple plot. This is the deal. This is what it's all about. This show just went above and beyond to really do it like the fans, but actually, do it how the fans would want it, but actually bring new people in. Great storyline. They went way more in depth than the original series. There was only one season in the original series, but in this show, they kind of went in full depth on a lot of other things that I really didn't see coming, and I thought it was just really, really well written. The vibe, though, that like cinematography and design wise, really, really cool. Like they went out of their way to really make it look like the animated series. The characters really, really done well. So yeah, I enjoyed it. John Cho plays from Harold.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He plays Spike. He plays Spike, and then who do they have playing Jet Black? Mustafa Shakir, who was in Luke Cage. He was like he played a character in Luke Cage, but he's awesome as Jet Black. Like, he's like, Spike's sidekick, hard-boiled ex-cop, and I'm a big fan of that, like late 60s, early 70s sci-fi. And there's a lot going on in that show that really harkens back to that. There's a lot of really cool Blade Runner references. So I thought it was awesome, and I really cannot wait to see more.
Cool. Yeah. Did you like the last Blade Runner? The Villeneuve?
2049?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I thought that was great. Not to call back to that show C I was telling you about. One of the queens, one of the evil queens, she was in Blade Runner 2049. She played the character Love, like the evil robot or replicant or whatever. But yeah, I love that. There's Blade Runner, there's a new series on Adult Swim called Black Lotus. It's an animated series, and it's awesome. It's just, like people like Kyle on Facebook and stuff, like me and him always talk about Blade Runner. Like, he's obsessed with it just as much as I am.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Zeus.
Yeah.
Zeus. But real quick, speaking of Dennis again, did you like Dune?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought Dune was great. I mean, I was definitely worried about how they were going to fit all of it into one movie, and then I found out at the end of the movie that they didn't. It's only like half of the first book. But thank God, because there was so much going on in the second half of the book. I had no idea how they were going to cram it in, but Oscar Isaac was amazing in it.
He's great in everything. Yeah.
Jason Momoa's in it. Timothy Chalamet can't go wrong. Kid can't get a bad role. So I thought it was really well done, and I loved it. I would go see it. I would see it again.
I needed to pick your sci-fi brain on that. So Parker,
I loved it.
Parker, number 2.
Number 2, I did a mini series on Hulu called Dope Sick.
Oh, yeah.
So this thing was fucking great. I mean, it's about the opioid addiction. They get into everything from like the Purdue Pharma, like the board meetings, and they talk about how like it first hits like a Virginia mining community, and then Michael Keaton plays this doctor, and it just pretty much shows himself how he slowly starts getting addicted, to this drug. And they go to sales meetings, how they, kind of had everybody vamped up, sell more pills, we'll give you cars and trips and bigger houses. But then they talk about how the DEA gets involved and just starts, cracking the case and just, bringing them down. And it was a really great show. I think it was about 8 episodes, but it fucking flew by.
I love, Michael Keaton's doing his thing, man. You know, he's still getting good roles. My dad actually told me to watch that. So, and I knew the story because of the documentary Crime of the Century, which was on HBO, where they talked about just kind of like, these doctors just kind of being in cahoots and giving people these oxys, and how that kind of fucked up the country, which is crazy when you think of like, I don't know, just like the repercussions of that, like through the whole, like people are so worried about like dumb shit and like, a kid in the ghetto having 2 cell phones, but they're not worried about something like this that just like decimated fucking like neighborhoods. Like, it's like that's what you give a fuck about. Like, it's a big thing. So Parker Langan, number 2.
My number 2, Parker mentioned it before, is Pen 15 from Hulu.
Just call it penis.
Yeah.
It's a ballsy premise, like, to pull off and get it right, because it could have went completely wrong. Like, to have these 2, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, whatever.
They're good. The 2 girls are good.
They are so good. They get all the uncomfortableness of that age, and like, being around, the relationships with boys and girls, and they just nail it. Facial expressions, their acting, the fact that they're telling like their real story, because these 2 were friends, I think, when they were younger, and this is their shared experience.
Oh, that's
and things
awesome.
like that.
Yeah.
And they wrapped it up after. They're calling it 2 seasons, but it's like an extension of the 2nd season, and this is it, which is good, because I don't think you could go any further with it. And it's wholesome too, It's kind of got like an uplifting bit to it too, but it's so good.
Cool. Yeah. Up on Hulu, I think.
Word.
Yep. My number 2 is Dave, season 2 of Dave. Lil Dicky had no idea. Like, I mean, you want to talk about Curb Your Enthusiasm? That's what this is. This is Dave is basically Curb Your Enthusiasm with hip hop. That's exactly what it is. And this season, he had a little bit of fame, and he has to make a record because he got signed, and the whole season is him kind of losing his mojo and procrastinating on making this record, and like the adventures that he goes on. And some of the episodes are like the episode with him and Benny Blanco, where he's like they're doing the absolute gayest shit to each other, even though they're not gay, but they're doing a lot of like gay acts, and it's pretty interesting to watch these 2 guys like drink water out of each other's asses and stick gum in their butthole. Very weird. And I mean, unless you're into that sort of thing, of course, but just like I can't, it's 10 episodes of him basically finding his mojo. And did you watch the season, Langan?
I didn't see the new season. No.
The new season. Do you know the show, John?
I'm aware of it. I watched the first episode of the first season. I thought it was hysterical.
Okay, I'm not even gonna ask Parker because
definitely not.
But it's just so good. Like I can't believe it. Like by the time you get to the last episode, it's like Ted Lasso. You're like the brilliance in the writing and everything that goes together. The performances. His friend Gata, who's just it's basically his life, obviously, because he's a rapper and Gata's his hype man. But it's just in this like different world that they created, and it's just so goddamn good, man. I fucking love this show. Season 1 and 2, can't recommend it enough. Up on Hulu, normally on FX, but you could watch everything on Hulu. So, all right, cool. So this brings us to our number 1 show of the year. So, John, what show did you enjoy the most out of everything this year?
Well, you had to spoil it for me before, but yeah, Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso is my number 1. Yeah, the season. I thought the season was great. I totally understand where Langan's coming from. It was a little bit different than the first season, but I loved it. And it was just, the way that they went through and developed all the characters through basically almost their own episodes.
Yeah.
And then the way that everybody was linked together, like the whole thing with Jamie and his drunk dad, and Roy kind of becoming his like father figure after all these years of them 2 being adversaries. I thought it was amazing. But that Beard After Dark episode, like that blew my fucking mind.
Right? Like like it just like the adventure he fucking went on. Yeah. And then the music at the end, I was just like, yo.
As corny as it sounds, like that's the thing, the adventure. And I felt like I was there with them. It's like everybody has one of those nights in their lives they can look back on and be like, what the fuck? How did all these events happen in one night? And then, they gave you one of those nights and it was just unreal. The thing that got me about that episode is that the way they set it up, it was right after Jamie punched his dad in the locker room. And then Beard went off by himself and they set it up. I really thought they were going to set it up as like something bad happened to Beard. Like he gets jumped and killed in a bar by those guys, but it turned into like this other twisting and turning animal. And I thought it was some of the best TV I watched all year. Just that one episode.
Yeah. Cause they like the two episodes like happened at the same time. So, cause I think the episode before that you see Beard leave and then he like disappeared.
After they lose the game, he walks off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they and man, Danny Rojas is the best, man. Come on.
Oh man.
Football is life. Football is life. These characters are so likable. Yeah, man, like everyone on the team has like a good, like you see them, especially in like the Christmas episode. Like it was fun. They're all hanging out. Like no one's like a dick.
Oh, Higgins at Higgins' house too. That was awesome.
Yeah. That's right.
Higgins is the best, dude.
Yeah. I mean, what a great show. Can't say enough about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's my number one.
Cool. Parker.
All right. So it's not from this year, but I watched it this year, so I'm fucking counting it. So this is an older show from 2010 to 2014. I started on HBO Max and just fucking plowed through it, and it's called Boardwalk Empire. So,
oh yeah,
I had never seen it before. So, Prohibition.
Not late to the party at all.
No, not at all. So, Prohibition in Atlantic City. The early days of Al Capone, Lucky Luciano. I mean, too many people to name. Steve Buscemi, main character. Chalky White. That character was fucking great.
He just passed away recently. Too.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't say enough.
Michael K. Williams.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about the show. I mean, it only took me fucking 12 years to watch it, but it's a good one. Not as good as Vigilante from 1983, but
Yeah, that is the best number one to any 2021 list ever.
Yes,
and I gotta say, when a long time ago, 10 years ago, right? When did you dress up as the dude with from there? John?
2014. Yeah,
was
2014.
It? Oh man, it seemed like so. Like I
actually, you know what? No. I'm sorry. It was 2012. It was the year. It was the year of Hurricane Sandy and the year I moved in this house. So yes, I remember it vividly. Yes.
Yeah, the guy with the mask.
Richard Harrow. Yeah, it was Richard Harrow.
Yeah, John. I mean, what a costume! I have the picture somewhere in my Facebook, and it was like, didn't you win like a contest that year?
Oh yeah. I try to win. I do really good. This year I was Drexel from True Romance.
Oh, you guys go hard. You at the Tracy parties.
Yes,
you guys don't fuck around.
Yep.
For sure.
No, it's
very good.
So yeah, but one thing I just wanted to say about Boardwalk Empire, that's like the most 2021 thing to do in a top 10 list is to pick a show from 2014. So that goes to Brian Parker because that was awesome brilliance.
Yeah,
I try. Thank you.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's amazing to me. So Langan, number one.
My number one. Well, first of all, I'm putting the makers of the Wu-Tang Clan show on blast. You could be here right now. You could be on my, but that shit was a mess. It pained me to not put that shit. I mean, it's my sheer love of the Wu that gets me through that show, and Ashton Sanders voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We are brothers.
How could he come back with that and then nobody? Just let it happen.
We are brothers. We need to get together. You know what I mean? Like it's like, are you in a kung fu movie?
My love of the Wu is so strong that I will watch it no matter what. But please get it together so you can be my number one next year. That's all I'm saying.
So
anyway,
last 5 episodes were great.
I had to ask Lang something.
When they get to the music, I'm there and stuff like that. But like, stop trying to the story with Ghost and the imaginary story with Ghost and RZA's sister and the baby to try to get like so dudes can watch it with their girl and they can have like some story in it. Like we don't care. Just get it out of there. Talk about the Wu-Tang.
They do have a baby together.
I didn't think they ever got together. I thought that was all made up for the show.
They have a baby together.
Regardless, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Yo, shout out to Cherie.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say, John?
I was just gonna ask Lang how this new season was. I have not gotten into season.
I'm being especially hard on it and stuff like that, but they could tighten it up a lot.
Yeah, I loved season 1. I thought season 1 was great.
Okay, if you loved season 1, you're going to love season 2 even more. It's better because it's more about the music. And from episode 6 to the last one, the direction they started to make it like kind of creative, where it was like beyond a story. Now it's like they took like creative control with like the direction, like the stuff where like RZA is like talking to himself and making the beat. Like if you like season 1, season 2 is fucking great.
Okay.
Absolutely. Right. You're gonna absolutely love it because
I still love it. Don't get me wrong, I still love it, but like it's just I don't know. I just wish it could be a little bit better. Yeah. And there's some really good performance in it. The guy that plays Divine is awesome. The kid that plays Dirt is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that plays Raekwon is awesome.
Yeah.
They get all the mannerisms down, but the RZA is mad distracting. Like when he talks, when you told me he talks like Ben Stern.
Yeah.
Sam, I can't get that out of my head every time he opens his mouth. But anyway, I'm rambling here. So my number one, I'm the last person to see it this year, was Squid Game. I finally just saw it last month after the hubbub. And I wanted to be like, all right, it's okay, but like it was all the hype about, but I was hooked in there. Again, not, like you mentioned 13 Game of Death, there's the story's kind of been done, but it's the way you do it. Yeah, exactly. It's the way you do it. It's the events you have. It's the challenge. It's like the film Cheap Thrills, or Would You Rather, put yourself in that situation. Would you do that for this? Blah, blah, blah. And let's talk about how like amazing it looks. It's very Stanley Kubrick, like looking, like some of the sets.
Yep.
The music was fantastic. It's got shades of what like Hostel, when you get into like the elite people and them you watching it for sport. It's got all that stuff. It's tightly put together, and it's probably
my least favorite sex scene of the year for sure.
Yeah.
What about the violation scene? That one's up there.
That movie had a boner, and I just can't
so
get
much
over
hard cock.
There was no titties, just all boner. But all right, so my number one is a show that is called Brand New Cherry Flavor, exclusively on Netflix. Man, this show is fucking amazing. It's very David Lynch, very body horror. So this girl makes a movie, and she decides she's going to go to Hollywood and try to get it made. So this is all in the 90s, I think, like early 90s, and she meets this producer who loves the movie, or says he does, and then they're going to work together, and then somewhere along the way, he probably tries to bang her or something, and he ends up taking the script and the story from her. And she goes to like a witch type played by Catherine Kenner to put a curse on this guy, and the curse works. And it's like from that moment on, the show is just crazy. It's so good. Like it's just so goddamn good. It blew me away. 8 episodes up on Netflix, and it's just this story of revenge and everyone in it, like Rosa Salazar is amazing. The dude Eric Lang, who plays the producer, he was in that show Escape at Dannemora. He played like the husband. Yo,
Yeah,
I had no idea it was the same guy. He's that fucking good, man.
yeah,
Yo,
he's awesome.
oh God, this was so good, man. Brand New Cherry Flavor is my favorite fucking 8 episodes of the goddamn year. Can't recommend it enough.
I gotta definitely get into that.
Yeah, for sure. It's just so good. Like if you like David Lynch, if you like body horror and like weird fucking shit, it's just like this universe in the 90s LA, and every character is just fucking bizarre, and it's so good. But cool. Yo, here we are. We wrapped it up. Best TV shows of 2021.
You said it all.
Yeah, like stick around for best documentaries of 2021 to finish off the year. And John, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Dude, it's a pleasure. I love talking with you guys. So yeah, hopefully
anytime you want
soon.
Anytime you want to come back and hang out with us. So guys.
Yeah, maybe when I get the new band going and we got something to show you guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
Sure.
All right. Take care, guys. Good night.
Later, man.
Bye. Later.
We could run away. Just leave. Never look back. I don't even care where we go. Just far away from here. I'll come with you.
Faked our deaths, lit a match, closed the door.
Yes. All right, man. This is it. This is the last part of the Red River Podcast Best of 2021. Documentaries. That's how we're going to close it out. Episode 110. A bunch of episodes in a row, which means we don't have to do a whole bunch. Steve Lambert, the what is he, like a stunt guy? His people hit us up. That'll be the next episode, which is interesting. When we had Sam Furstenberg on, Steve Lambert was somebody that he used all the time, and if you watch Revenge of the Ninja, he was like all over that movie. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, wouldn't it be fun to get this guy who's done a lot of like interesting things? And his people emailed us, which is funny because it's like we're like, I'm like, really? I'm like, I hope you emailed at least 10 other shows. Be like, get me Red River.
We're percolating right now.
Yeah, totally. So, but anyway, we're waiting for Tim Saliani to come on. He's in Florida somewhere, living his best life, but he's going to come on. But I want to talk about honorable mentions on the documentaries and stuff. So, Langan, just kick it off like with what you have on the honorable list.
All right, we're gonna do like a 5.
Yeah.
It's our in-depth discussion, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna rattle off the ones that didn't make the cut, but we're all great. Biggie, I got a story to tell about Notorious B.I.G. A lot of footage in there I hadn't seen before, and I thought I had seen it all. But a good, well-made documentary. Mean Man about Chris Holmes.
Oh yeah,
not the highest budget factor on there, but I'm always been fascinated with that man. I always will be.
Yeah.
And hearing his side of things, makes me think he's a little less fucked up than I always thought he was.
Yeah, because like you realize that like Blackie got rid of the whole band after the first album.
Yeah, he seems like an uber douche, and I would love to see the Blackie Lawless documentary, like unauthorized. But it's a fun watch if you grew up in that heyday.
Listen, not many people coined. He invented homeless metal. That was the subgenre that he came.
Yeah, he was one of a kind. Attica, a great documentary I saw on Hulu, but I think it was Hulu. Or was it HBO Max?
Yeah, because I thought it was on Showtime.
Is that where I saw it? I don't know. I've been bouncing around so much.
The prison, right?
Yeah, 71 prison uprising, and the and how fucked up and blatantly racist it was, and how the system still needs a lot of reform. The Rescue, a Nat Geo documentary about a
Oh yeah,
took place in Thailand.
the cave.
11 kids and their coach got stuck in a cave that was flooding out, and it shows the rescue process, and it's like
It's great. They got like the best divers,
yeah,
right, from like other countries.
guys that did it as hobbies, like cave diving. That was like their specific thing. So like, yeah, they brought them in to work with the army to rescue, and it was a really tight rescue. But if you like documentaries like I think Free Solo
Yeah,
was the one that I saw.
yeah, they did
like,
Free Solo. I
It's
think
completely like angst ridden, like you'll be on the edge of your seat.
because that one, that's a good one. I didn't mention that one, but yeah, like that's on Disney Plus. Just unreal. Like nothing is more claustrophobic than that situation.
oh my
because
god,
even like they said, even once they get the kids or whoever else was in there, it's like they need to basically somehow guide them in the dark.
yeah,
And then
They
take
gotta-
like breaths.
they had to sedate them. They had to call the one guy called a friend who was a doctor in Australia, a way to sedate the kids, and had to teach the divers how to administrate the sedation.
Yeah,
in
they
there.
should have asked Jelaine Maxwell. She would have told them.
Mhm.
Too soon.
Hey,
Too soon.
hey, but yeah, an outstanding one. What else do I have on here? Bitchin', the Sound and Fury of Rick James, I believe it was called, the full
Yeah.
name. I love music documentaries, especially one when I learned some stuff, and I didn't know a lot about Rick's early life and being in Canada and being in a band with Neil Young of all people. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's absurd. And they had a deal with Motown,
Yeah.
like with their band. It's like, can you imagine like
No.
those two guys playing together? So that was fantastic. And the last one I'll give you is the Velvet Underground documentary. That was on Apple. I can't get enough of footage of old New York and anything from any era of that New York, and the whole Velvet Underground story with the Andy Warhol, and it's just tons of great footage. And
Speaking of Andy Warhol, today I was listening to a podcast with Joey Allen from Warrant. And it made me want to listen to Dog Eat Dog, the album. And I'm
As you
listening
do.
to yeah, and I think it's a great record. I still do. And it got to the song. My least favorite song on the record was a song called Bonfires, but also there's a song called Andy Warhol Was Right. And it wasn't that good, but it's funny that you mentioned it. So
about the 15 minutes of fame, I guess.
yeah,
they're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Ironically.
Yep.
Ironically.
Yeah. Hey, 3 great records, man. I'm a big fan. So, but cool. That's what you got, right?
Yeah, when I hear Warren, I think about that when they played at the club I worked at, and Jane Lane got drunk and broke my cash register. I had to bounce a jack him up, and I thought he was gonna cry.
He was not having a good year, probably. What year was that?
It probably, I'm gonna ballpark 94, 95.
Oh yeah, they were like,
Yeah.
they were trying.
We
to
got
figure
all
out what
those
to do.
bands right before Jones Beach figured out there was a market for
Yeah.
revival of that stuff. But yeah, I had all the winners there.
Yeah, they put out 2 albums in the 90s, which I never heard, but like I guess they were trying to do like, like an Alice in Chains things. And it's funny, like how a band.
They all tried to do that.
Yeah, but isn't it funny how any band that survived is because they didn't change. They were just like, okay, this is our fan base and this is what we're gonna play to. It's like, sure, we're not gonna play to 20,000 people, but maybe we'll play to 2,000, which is still pretty fucking awesome,
Yeah.
And
the mid 90s output of a lot of those bands is really, like, I remember Dokken at one point, they had like something they were trying to do with the rocking some flannel or doing whatever. It's like,
listen, basketball jersey Kiss, Parker.
Let's do it, man.
When they did what was that album where they got
What,
heavy.
hot in the shade? Oh, the heavy.
Nah.
No, the heavy one was Revenge.
Your Revenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
They like got dressed up in all black and
Yeah.
they were like mean mugging the
But kind of
villain.
you expect Kiss to do that. Like you expect Chris to grasp it, like whatever's like sizzling right now. Like
They
I
had a
get
disco song.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Like anything, it's like, oh, we're gonna do this like New York Dolls thing. It's like, oh, disco's in. Okay, let's do a disco song. It's like, oh, hair metal's in. Let's take our makeup.
If you got no shame from the jump, like
Yeah.
you're never gonna catch any shit about it.
No, because I think they looked at it as like a business. They're like, okay, how do we sustain this business? And if you're in a business that isn't music, if you're like a store, it's like, all right, let's adapt. Okay, people don't want fucking this anymore, so we're gonna sell this. And I think
See,
that's
all this talk is reminding me that I never watched the Kiss doc that came out. That was this
oh,
year too,
that
right?
was good.
Yeah, that was good.
You know what? That's a good one. I mean, it wouldn't have made my list regardless, but that was still fun. I thought it was it was very in depth.
I gotta jot that down though.
Yeah, it's up on A&E. Cool. Parker, give me your honorables.
So honorable. So I actually also have Mean Man Chris Holmes. I enjoyed that. I was hoping for maybe like a pool float and like a bottle of like scotch or something, but
recreation.
Yeah, but the guy looks like total fucking trash, which I love. I expect him to see it at like Monster Mania probably in about a year, like overcharging for an autograph, so that'll be good.
Yes, and you'll pay.
Probably.
He's got to get the plane fare together.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Life After Navigator I watched. It was like a Flight of the Navigator documentary, and the
really
the kid that was in that it's crazy. So like the movie comes out, he's supposedly going to be like the next big Disney star, yada yada yada. Goes back to school and just doesn't know how to talk to kids because he's been on a movie set. A couple of years pass, and the guy actually like loses it and actually like hijacks a bank in Canada where he lived. Goes away to prison for like a bunch of years, then like rehab. He goes into drugs, yada yada. So this documentary gets like the cast and crew together that they haven't seen each other in like 30 years, however fucking old that movie is. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
What was that on? Where'd you catch that?
Prime, maybe that was on.
Okay.
Maybe Prime, yeah.
I'm looking him up right here.
Life After Navigator, it was called.
This is his mugshot. He looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I would never have known everything that just happened to that guy.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he was the kid from Rocky 4 and Over the Top.
Yeah.
But no, different guy. I'm gonna watch that. Yeah.
It was pretty good. Other than that, I watched Halloween in a Box, which is on YouTube. That's actually a Ben Cooper documentary. So if anybody knows who Ben Cooper is, it was the early Halloween costumes from like, the early 70s. They got into, some of the artists, some of the designs, how they came up to. What else? Count Me In, I watched, which is a drumming drumming documentary. So that was pretty cool. Everything from like tuning to setting drums up, yada, yada, yada. And then Woodstock 99. I know those.
Yeah. That was, you know what? I totally forgot about that.
Yep.
That was an interesting one too. But as far as the drumming goes, like who was your favorite person that they spoke to?
I mean, it's funny because I thought that they, when you think of like drumming documentaries, you're just like, well, where the hell was Neil Peart? Because he's supposedly the best of all time. There was no Neil Peart, but I did find it interesting.
I know where he was. He was dead.
Oh, there you go. I did find it amusing that Samantha Maloney from Shift, the New York
she was
band
in there,
was in it. That which I thought was awesome. So
she played in Motley Crue for a minute too.
Yep. So
Yeah.
and then she did Hole after that. I think she was on 2 Hole records. So
we were trying to get her on If I Ruled the World.
Nice.
And stuff, and we were going to, but she's not really a podcast person. So, but that Woodstock thing was great too. I didn't have that. I mean, there was a lot of really cool stuff. So I have honorables. I'm gonna mention Biggie. I got a story to tell, just because when you watch something from someone who's been dead for so long that it's like, you rehash so many things. This was different. This was like his friends, people that grew up with him. It was just like a different angle of like who he was kind of like as a person. And I thought it was cool. It was really well done, and I loved it. His mom was so cool, you know.
Yeah.
I felt bad. Crime and Penalties on Netflix, which was the hockey one, like
The untold
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Untold Crime and Penalties. Yo,
Yeah.
the fucking like it was like the Genovese family, hockey, all this. I'm like, yo, what the like? It just this story was fucking bananas, and at the end of the day, like no one you know what I mean? Like it was kind of like I don't know, it was kind of like a pro criminal story for sure. It's like, oh,
Totally.
you take it on the chin, you do your time, you come back, you know.
Oh,
Like,
it was all feel good at the end, man.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Because at first,
What
like,
could happen when a mob associate, a small time mob associate gives his 20-year-old son a hockey team for his birthday. Like, here you go.
And it sets it up kind of like where they want you to hate the kid in the beginning. You know, like that you feel like he's like gonna be a complete fucking like nightmare, and then from there you're like, oh, he's kind of like, you kind of root for him after. You're like, oh, this is weird. I like him. So yesterday we mentioned the supervillain, which was the Tekashi 6ix9ine docu-series, which was 4 episodes, and this was brilliant because it's a kid who opened up Pandora's box. Like, he wanted to be famous so bad that he associated himself with a gang. The gang took him, like, kind of put him over and used him as a cash cow. And once he didn't want to be used as a cash cow, he was like, oh, I'm cutting ties. And they were like,
it doesn't work that way.
Like, that's not how it works. Yeah. Which is like, if you listen to this podcast, Behind the Bastard, the Steven Seagal one, let me let this motherfucker in. If you listen to the episode of Behind the Bastard, Steven Seagal is like, yeah. What's up, Tim? Tim coming in. We're doing our honorable mentions real quick. So, he like basically had that same setup with like the Gambino family, where like they were like funded his career, and then after a while he was like, I don't want to fuck with you guys anymore, and they were like, that's not how it works. Like, you know,
it's a podcast called Beyond the Bastards.
Yeah, Behind the Bastards. Yeah, it's like they list all these people. I'll send you the link. It's amazing. Okay. It's like a 2-part Steven Seagal story. But Tim, I was talking about the Tekashi 6ix9ine thing is on my honorable mention on Showtime, because it's amazing. Like I said, it's just like, it's a kid who wanted to be famous so bad that he made a deal with these guys. And he, you know, when it was good, and then later on it's like, I don't want you guys taking my money anymore, and they're just like, nah. They're like, that's not how it works. And then he fucking ratted, like, you know, and I get it, because technically he's not really a criminal, he's just a kid like trying to do whatever, so he doesn't have that code of the streets or ethics that they do. So
code of the streets
at all.
And he doesn't even, he keeps saying like he doesn't even really like hip hop, like most of it.
That was one of the most interesting parts about it, was like that he didn't even listen to hip hop. He listened to Parkway Drive and like more metal bands, and I was just like, wow, that's really interesting. So
yeah, and then you pick, well, whatever, but yeah, it's fascinating.
Hard to have a street cred when you look like Rainbow Bright.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely a look. So I got 2 more here. Crime of the Century, which is a documentary on HBO, is like 2-parter on the Purdue, like, you know, the oxys, and basically everyone being over medicated and how it was just completely overlooked, and these doctors all basically hooked the fucking country on these pills, you know. It's just amazing. Like, you watch it, and the show Dope Sick obviously touches on that as well. Right. And then I'm gonna end it up with Dark Side of the 90s and Dark Side of the Ring. Those 2.
Ooh, Dark Side of the Ring, nice.
Yeah, those 2 in particular. I don't even give a shit about wrestling, but they're just so much fun. But Dark Side of the 90s was great. It was just like basically reliving like every shitty thing about the 90s, from like, you know, they started off with like the talk shows, like the what is that, the Jerry Springer stuff and all that other, just great. It's up on YouTube, so all you got to do is just type it up, Dark Side.
It's a Vice thing, right?
Yep. Both of them are Vice. But yo, how's Florida?
Let me tell you, I've never felt whiter in my entire life.
Yeah, nice. Welcome to the club. I mean, I don't know what it's like, but these guys could definitely, these guys are both pretty white. I mean,
These guys are both pretty white.
Burn.
These guys, they're not playing golf in Florida like you are. So
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like I reached a midlife crisis point where like I bought a set of golf clubs and I also bought an electric skateboard. So like I don't know which way I want to go yet.
yeah,
I'm still trying to figure it out.
probably
You don't
golf.
want to be too bougie, so you got the skateboard too.
Yeah, exactly. So, but welcome back from the last time you were on, we talked about Tribe Called Quest.
So fun.
And that's it, man. Comedian, everyone should check him out, of course, when he does his thing. Do you have any honorable mentions aside from like we're doing a top 5? Do you have anything outside of that top 5 that you want to mention?
I will mention Dark Side just because it's more of a show or anthology documentary show. Dark Side of the Ring is that Canyon episode this last season. I don't know. Welling up was a lot there because it was like, oh god damn it! It just that show really knows how to poke you right in the feels, and then make you say shit like feels.
Yeah. And I don't even know. Like to me, I was like such a like WWF guy that all those other things I couldn't even comprehend watching something else. But I mean, I guess those things were very popular. I guess ECW was another thing. The Rob Black episode was crazy. Like the porn guy.
Yep.
Yeah, like that was fucking like pretty out there, man. And almost every one of those episodes ends up with them dead.
Yes. Who knew? Who knew Moolah was making finger puppets out of every one of her fucking students?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're our guest. Kick it off with number 5, Tim.
Hold on one sec. So number 5 is okay. So New Talk, right, is something that I just recently watched. It's basically about an Alaskan village that's crumbling into the water. And they're trying to get representation in Washington to be able to relocate the village 10 miles to a different spot that's not melting into the ocean. And basically nobody's listening to them.
Okay.
And therein lies everything that is where we are in this day and age.
Yeah.
People are falling into the water in Alaska, and your local government does not want to do anything about it.
Your federal government doesn't. All I got to say is don't look up. Don't look up. That movie is just like that's what it is. And today somebody mentioned that it was warmer in Alaska today than it was in San Diego. And
everything's fine.
I mean, but what are we gonna do? Like to me, I'm thinking like Parker has actually all 3 of you have kids. And I'm just thinking like, good Lord, like, I don't know, like I just give me an extra 40 years and I'm good. Everyone else, I don't know, So, but what's that called again?
A New Talk. It's the Alaskan village that's basically sinking into the ocean. It's jarring because we've since whatever that inconvenient truth, we've known about the ice melting and all that other shit, but to really watch people be absolutely displaced because of it, it's a lot. So
well, I mean, I watched
really,
I was watching the news and like I try not to really even like pay too much mind, but it's like every day I put on the news is like some like wind catastrophe somewhere, or like a flooding, a fire, or like a tornado. And I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like every day I come home and there's like a tornado somewhere in like the Midwest, or like flooding somewhere. So I don't know. Whatever. 2022, here we come.
Happy New Year.
Parker, give me number 5.
All right. So this one I actually took Langan's advice and watched this. He mentioned this. It actually came out late 2020. Belushi, about John Belushi. This was on Showtime. And documentary, they used a lot of like audio tapes recorded shortly after his death. and played them back. And I mean, watching this fucking thing, I just fucking forgot how goddamn funny this fucking guy was. I mean, you could hear the pain in his voice, everything he was going through, but like they get into the relationship with him and his wife, and just a fucking sad story, man. Just everything that this guy was, taking, into his body and just putting himself through, with the physical comedy. And I had to jump to fucking Peacock after this and just watch some of his best bits, because the guy really was a fucking genius and died way too fucking soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could do the zit joke right now.
Yeah,
I can't. Doesn't really sound good in the audio. Langan, number 5.
My number 5 is Woodlands: Dark Days and Bewitched: A History of Folk Horror. It's a real broad. I mean, folk horror. It's so many different things, and there's a resurgence in it. And they get into like they start basically with Witchfinder General, those kind of films about like witchcraft, early England, but they go all around the world to Russia, to Thailand, to whatever, and all different lore and history and what films got created in that country. And it's like a 3-hour film, and it's thorough as hell. They have the clips to everything, movies that they're talking about. It's not like a chintzy documentary, a lot of talking heads talking about it. Eventually gets into Midsommar and our favorite, The Witch, things like that. But it covers everything. I mean, I rented it on Amazon Prime for like $2, and
cool.
It's thorough as fuck. If you're a horror fan, it's must see.
Yes. Also, fuck The Witch. Thank you.
Yes, always.
Yeah, honestly, are we all on board with Fuck the Witch? Because,
I mean, come on. That movie is just like, I mean, here's my favorite part. It's so unsettling. It's like, what?
Yo, I almost canceled my showtime. I
was so unsettled.
Me and
canceled.
Me and Longito went to see it in the theaters. Like, he's the one. He's like, oh, let's go see this movie. And me and him watched it. Like,
what was the mark when you guys looked at each other and we're like, is this really like?
We were just kind of sitting there quiet, and as soon as the movie was over, you got to ask him because he'll tell you. Some dude in the front stands up and he's like, that was the worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. And it kind of like broke the ice, and we all laughed because we were just like, all right, but like we were just like, what the fuck did we just watch? It made no sense. So, but my number 5.
Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me tell you quick about Chris and The Witch. Chris recommended The Witch emphatically to everybody without having seen The Witch. And then we went to see The Witch before he saw it, and what a pile of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck the
complete pile of
shit. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Number 5 is a documentary made by a friend of mine, and he was a guest of ours, Analog Love. My friend Rob G made this movie.
It's my number 4.
Is it? Okay, yeah. So it's like just a documentary about mixtapes. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, like, can you gear something more towards us than this? It's like the language of mixtapes, and he had people like Henry Rollins on, Christian James Hand, a lot of people. And then the wraparound story was great. Was this girl, and she was making a mixtape for her dad, right?
Yeah,
that's what it was. And she was like taking songs from his like records and stuff like that. She never made a mixtape.
As a kid, yeah, from the way she's grown up listening to music, she's like, the funniest part was where she's like recording the song to the CD or whatnot, and was like, wait, so we have to actually like sit and listen to the entire thing, like, because it's on the computer, you dump it in there and drop it in there,
and she had to make sure that it wasn't going, like, the last song wasn't going to go over. So,
right,
like, he had to calculate it. It was
but I love how it gets into the science of that, because like, you'd get a rough idea. Okay, I could fit this on a 45-minute side.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. And like, you'd be watching the tape. Like, I think I got enough right in there, trying to look in the window. And
listen, a mixtape was serious business. And this is great. So Analog Love, made by our buddy Rob G. So really cool. Tim, give me number 4.
So my number 4 was Belushi, actually, and the reason that it was number 4, it really the juxtaposition between genius and addiction is this like fine line, and this kind of hits every part of that. And I don't know, it really, there, as much as we all hype up Belushi, I don't think we hype up Belushi enough, because there was something really genius about him. So that was my number 4, was Belushi. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, if Belushi lived a long life, you could have seen him. He would have had the chops to be like, had like an older act in his career like Bill Murray did. I feel
agree.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He could have done those kind of roles and stuff because he would have had those chops.
He could have played Artie Lang's dad in the movie for sure.
He could have done that. Falling off the roof of the house.
Ha! Yes. Totally. Parker, number 4.
Number 4, I went with this thing I watched on Prime called Val, about Val Kilmer.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So this was, I mean, you talk about fucking tugging at your heartstrings. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah.
So it was narrated by his son, did the narration, and you know, a lot like Kid 90. It was just, you know, years and years of, you know, VHS tapes that he had, you know, everything from like Top Gun to the Batman film he was in, and just a fucking sad story towards the end, because I mean, this guy just had such a great fucking career, and then what it wound up as. I mean, the scene when he's doing a con and they have to fucking drag the guy away because he starts fucking throwing up and he can't finish doing the autographs, and just feel fucking bad. But definitely worth the watch, you know, if you are a fan, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing. That was really, really good. But it's like that bit of sadness, because sometimes people just pull that card, you know. That guy had the best life, kind of, you know. Yeah. 1 minute he's banging Elizabeth Shue, and the next time, the next minute he's not. You know. But hey, and his son reading and narrating really added to it. You know, I thought it was just very touching. So, so Analog Love is your number 4, right?
Number 4. Yep.
So we're gonna do my number 4, which is Ricky Powell. The Ricky Powell documentary on Showtime was fucking phenomenal. Like, here's a guy, same thing. He had so much footage, such a New York character, such a New York figure. He gets in with like, he was just somebody who was everywhere you were supposed to be. Like the most happening shit that's happening in the city at that moment in time, he was just there with his fucking camera. The Beastie Boys start taking off, so he starts going on tour with them on the first album, and Paul's Boutique, you know, and it's just fucking, it's such a great documentary, but then it just gets really dark because he's somebody who, I guess, like, the party just kept going on for him. And a lot of those guys were not about that anymore. So they kind of had, you know, they were just like, oh, we can't really bring him around. And then his relationship with his mom was kind of like really brutal. They didn't really have a good relationship, and it shows that in the movie. And it's like it's a brutal reality. Like, when you watch it, they're older, and what his life became, and you know, a lot of partying in the beginning, and then reality kind of set in at the end, you know. So super huge it's really good. You got to watch this. Like, if you love the Beastie Boys, if you love pictures, if you love that time, you got to watch the Ricky Powell documentary. It kind of blew me away.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So Tim, number 3.
So my number 3 was the Nas directed video music box documentary on Showtime.
So good.
Me too. My 3 too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not even go with it, run with it, because let me tell you, I was just some of the footage that they had was shit that just put you in a time and place in your life.
Yep.
And that is everything you ever want out of any piece of entertainment, is to just transport you to a certain point. And this did it. And I was like, God, and kudos to Nas. Who knew he had the chops to do? I mean, he's talented all around, but you know, this just was so perfectly done. I really loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big, big,
it's
big
this
time.
living, breathing history book of hip hop that this guy
Yeah.
has. And please, Ralph McDaniel, I'm getting anxiety when I see all those tapes.
Yes.
I please to God, if you're listening, and I know you are,
Yeah.
if you're a big fan, back that shit up, please. Make a streaming channel where we can watch all of that. I would watch that I mean, I'm sure the rights would be a pain in the ass with all the talent on there, but man, there is gems of the culture that have to be preserved forever. This guy's got everything.
The performances on that just alone, just like it just and I love like the VHS footage because it's so like greasy and grainy, but I remember like you put it on, like I just remember always watching it, and like it was on, sometimes you would flash by that channel. I'm like, oh shit, video music box is on, and then you start watching it, and like just like it was just such a goddamn party. But this one, I speaking of Tribe, like that performance was fucking great. I remember that because it was also in the Tribe documentary, and I'm like, god damn, it's like they fucking come out and they're filming. It's just that was a really good doc. Showtime is on this shit, man, for sure. They got
kidding.
They got some good music docs for sure.
Oh yeah.
For real.
Parker, number 3.
Number 3, I did Wolfman's Got Nards, man. Fucking Monster Squad documentary.
I still didn't see it.
Yeah, so this thing is fucking great. So they do it's almost like a tour they go on. So they take 3 actors from the movie, and they explain how pretty much like when this movie came out, like no, it didn't really do anything. Like nobody really it's not the hit that it was now. Like, but then years after, like 15, 20 years after, they started showing, like the midnight showings and started doing like the cult following started building up. So then the 3 actors from the movie started going on tour, and they were just like, holy shit, like this movie's actually, getting somewhere now. And, they interviewed, Fred Decker, they introduced Seth Green's on there. A couple bigger actors just, telling, how much this movie impacted, their childhood growing up.
Yeah, that's I still didn't watch it. I forgot that it's even out, but shout out to Fred Decker for writing me on Messenger. So nice. I just want to throw that out there. But yeah,
it's a good one.
It's one of those things. Like I posted an article, I think Bloody Disgusting did it. I posted it on Tuesday where it was like 8 movies that should have done better in the box office.
Yes, yeah.
And it was like Event Horizon, The Thing, Monster Squad, and you're like Slither, Death, Grindhouse double feature. And you're like, holy shit! You're like all these 8 movies are fucking like gems, but they kind of didn't do shit when they came out, and Monster Squad was one of those. Yeah. So
Chris dragged us to see the entire cast and replaying up in Yonkers. Yeah, at Alamo in Yonkers.
Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
All 4 of us. Yeah, it was fun.
I remember. Yeah, right. It was you. Oh yeah, it was you, Kevin, and
me, Kev, Jim, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of beer up there, right? In that theater.
Yeah, it was a lot. That one and Hail to the Dead Ice. Those were 2, of that vein documentaries that I thought were great.
That's up on Shudder. I still didn't get a chance to watch it. God damn it. So number 3 was Tim.
I had
right?
Video Music Box as well.
All right, so number 3 for me is Kid 90. Kid 90 fucking, there's nothing like someone. I avoided pictures nonstop as a kid. I just never wanted to be in pictures. Now you get someone like Soleil Moon Frye, who basically videotaped everything from the time she shot out of a pussy to like today. You know what I mean? Like she fucking has footage of everything.
There's 5 minutes on a pap smear in that fucking documentary.
Probably.
If I had a friend like that back in the day, I would have smacked the shit out of him. I'm like, enough of that already.
Like,
right?
yo, stop fucking filming shit. But she, now you look back and like everything, like who would have known that she was dating Danny Boy, who like she's 1/3 of him. Like you take 3 Soleil Moon Fries and put them on top of each other and it equals 1 Danny Boy.
Nice.
Like it's just like like you could have the smallest dick in the world and it doesn't even matter. It's like it's like when someone is that tiny, you're just like, all right, cool, like I'm just saying, like I remember I once had sex with a girl who was 6'4", and I'm just gonna throw that out there, that it's like,
You
Yeah,
disappeared.
I like how you said, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
sometimes things appear smaller when someone is that much bigger, and I would imagine the vice versa.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Scorpions again.
So Danny Boy blast him.
Yeah. But yeah, and then another thing too was when she hung out with the guys from Kids, like that whole crew.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like that was interesting. I'm like, you, Harold Hunter, and like everyone else that died from that movie, it's just like pretty. I'm like, I don't remember this ever happening. But then again, like, why would you? Like, there was no, I couldn't jump on Facebook to see her hang out. It was just such a
right
moment in time that she filmed. It was just like, wow, like she hung out at this place and became friends with these people. And another sad thing too is the career. She never really had much of a career after that stuff. Like she did a bunch of like really, I know she did a Sam Furstenberg movie. I remember.
Yeah.
Well, you saw that happen a lot, with that transition where they start as a child actor, and some of them can't, whether they don't get the roles or whatever reason, they just can't make the transition,
Nah, you're either Charles in charge or you're blown away. It happens.
That's it. Yeah. Wow. Blown Away was a very big deal. That's all.
Great
I gotta
movie.
say.
Great movie. Great nudity.
Great nudity in that one.
There you go.
All right, Tim, give me number 2.
Well, I'd like to give you number 2, but you just said my number 2 because Kid 90. I'll just elaborate quick on it. Kid 90. It was really a jarring look at your childhood, but like when you got to like the Jonathan Brand stuff, I was just like, ooh, I've made some terrible jokes in my life.
Yeah.
And that's like, it just, the amount of people that went down the hill in that documentary.
Yeah.
And people you didn't even know that knew each other. It was just a weird thing, like to tie in your entire childhood. Yeah. I don't know. Kid 90 was just one of those things where like it's I like stuff that'll really bring you to a different time and a place, and that was one of them. So
yeah, it was like
that was my other.
Everyone that you knew from that moment in time, I'm like, yeah, like you're like, wait, how did all these people know each other? It's like they're all hanging out in my head, and she like took video footage of all like they were all like young like Hollywood fucking people, and they're like, oh, I guess we're just gonna hang out and so, great footage, like just really good footage.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're Punky Brewster, and you're the kid that Rodney Dangerfield says, all I know is I got a lot of balls still. Like that, you're not supposed to be. It's supposed to be hanging together.
Yeah. Yeah. R.I.P. man. R.I.P. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So Parker, number 2.
Yeah. So
number 2, I watched on HBO Max. It was called Harlan County, and this was about the coal miners' strike in 1973 in Kentucky. So definitely a different take on a documentary that I would normally watch, but crazy. I mean, they showed everything from like the picket lines to like, the union bringing in like, scab workers, families, pulling guns because they didn't want to, these guys to come in and finish the job. But this kind of went hand in hand with like Dope Sick, just seeing like how physically like destroyed these people were, being miners for their whole lives. And now, they're talking about possibly losing their jobs and bringing in, other people, to take over. But pretty good, I got to say.
What's it called again?
Harlan County. It's on HBO Max.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So Langan, number 2.
I got another feel-good one, I guess, here. Life of Crime from...
that's my number 2.
From HBO, man. Sam told me to watch it, and I mean, what a heavy doc, like
how'd that work out for all of them?
Yeah, that ruined a lot of weekends for sure.
Oh my god.
It was like around Christmas. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll watch this.
Yeah, it's just such a honest, brutally honest, like look at the prison system, poverty, addiction, and the you hear about all these things in the news, but real world, like watching people go through it generationally.
Yeah.
and such a patient. I mean, I don't know the exact structure of John Albert made it, right? He's made he's made a few good things, but I guess it came out originally as like a 1 hour thing, right? And then he added stuff on over time. What a patient, exercise. But I mean, it's as heavy as a film you can watch.
He picked 3 winners for sure.
Oh my God. And it's a heavy piece, but well worth watching.
Yeah, it's my number 2 as well. It just it was gonna be my number 1, but the other one just beat it out. It just, man, when you I mean, when you want a documentary, like this is a documentary. This is like the scene, where they show like the morgue.
Oh my God.
There was no I don't even
chill.
I don't feel like they eased you into what was going on. They're like, oh yeah, this is the body, and then you see I'm like, how long has that body been sitting in that goddamn bag for? Jesus.
I can't even believe. I know, I was not expecting what that.
I was not expecting that.
No.
I was not.
It was like creepy Dr. Bodkin just fucking talking over dinner, just a matter of factly. Oh, by the way, here's this bloated fucking. Absolutely horrific.
Yeah. And then I did not see, I'm not going to ruin the end, obviously, because there's a lot to it, but it's just, I did not see that end either.
No.
I did not see that end. But I'm sitting there just trying to swallow the lump in my throat.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, what? I'm like, is it what's going on? It just I'm like, I'm gonna go jump out a window. What's going on?
It's just constantly beating you with a sledgehammer. And another, I loved how it reminded me of the early days of HBO. Docs, the real gritty 100%. Shit they used to put out.
Oh, all the America undercovers.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah, this was not glossy at all. Oh wow. All right, so
and the director really had a relationship with these people, you could see when they come, oh John, and it's heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oof.
So that's my number 2, which brings us to number 1. Tim, give me your number 1 documentary of 2021.
Well, I mean, as any other good documentary of any other year would tackle the subject of priest fucking kids.
Nice. All right.
Ascension is a jarring look at a group of men from Kansas City that were abused by priests, and their plight to shine a light on it. And I think the difference in this one is they kind of make the victims recreate what happened, and that is that brings you to a real messed up place. It's that I watching a documentary I've never experienced. It's and I mean, I'm talking about watching Dear Zachary go.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, this particular documentary was wow. It's hard. It's real hard.
I just always think of Sleepers. That's what I think of.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's that, but you feel dirty.
Yeah. Oh, I felt yeah. I just like Kevin Bacon being like, so what's up, guys?
Yeah.
So what's up, guys? He starts eating a steak. So how you been, guys?
Yeah.
But Ascension, that was on HBO, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's great.
Shout out to those priests. Parker, give me your number 1.
Number 1, I'm doing Beatles Get Back, man.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I cannot believe. Are you a Beatles fan?
I'm a fucking huge Beatles fan.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I could tell
it's
you.
It's about time we got to a good band.
Dude, we could do a whole Beatles episode, and I'm down. Fucking me and fucking Mark O'Connell.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, this dates back to me growing up. My older brother, a huge Beatles fan, so he used to drive to this comic book store in Oceanside called Cosmic Comics, and I would fall asleep. He'd be listening to the Beatles, blah blah blah, and then I get my first drum set. And I've learned these songs subliminally somehow. And I'm just like, oh, how the fuck can I play all these fucking Beatles songs? It was the weirdest thing. But anyway, this documentary comes out, blew my mind. I mean, you feel like you're in the fucking room with these people. I don't know if it's how they shot it, how Peter Jackson put it together, but I mean, it's crazy just seeing like Yoko Ono, and then like, you know, George Harrison comes in with like this Tibetan monk that just like sits in the corner and like hangs out to like, you know, just be with him. I mean, everything. I noticed like Ringo was using like a bigger drum set than I was used to, just all this like shit. And then just how they start, just how Paul McCartney can just write a song just from scratch, and just how it builds. And George Harrison comes in, you know, I couldn't sleep last night, so I wrote this song at 2 a.m., listened to it, and then it just fucking blew me away.
I just want to say I do that all the time. It's not that
nice.
impressive.
There it is.
And they weren't. There's a lot of conflict in this movie.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like
yeah. I mean, George Harrison quits, and, you know, they
because he wasn't getting his song ideas heard, right?
Well,
Paul McCartney was kind of a dick.
He wasn't playing how John Lennon wanted him to play it. And it was just like, look, this is how I play guitar. Either let me play this or I can leave. So he left.
Did you see the original Get Back, the film? Because this is all like made. I think he added a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah,
like because he said you needed to hear the whole story. But
I did. I saw the original. It was called Some Kind of Monster. That was
does Dave Mustaine cry?
Yeah.
Get Back.
Somebody sent me a picture. I gotta send it to you. It's of Carrot Top in a tank top, and it says Megadeth under it. It's so good. I gotta send it to you. It's really good. So yeah, cool, man. Shout out to Disney Plus for doing something really cool. And Peter Jackson.
It is awesome.
Langan, number one.
My number one. This was a no-brainer for me. In Search of Darkness Part 2.
Oh yeah, those were great.
Came out on DVD last year, but hit the streaming this year. Sam's not sure if it came out this year.
In Search of Darkness? I don't know.
Part 2.
Remind me. I don't know what that is again.
You had the guy on the show with Dan Terr.
Oh, In Search of Darkness. That's a good one. That's a good one.
This guy can't make enough of these.
Yeah.
It's 4 hours long and it goes by like 10 minutes for me. And I love the setup, how it's almost like entering a mom and pop video store where they're going through and scanning all the boxes, and then which one are they going to land on? They land on it and get in depth on it. But they deal with all the film. You've seen 8 million horror documentaries, and they all got the clips of this. Talks about the same thing. This one's getting into the nuts and bolts, the real deep cuts of those stores. And for a horror hound, I mean, it's the bomb. And I'm looking forward to his sci-fi one and the fantasy one, right? They're just crowdfunding for them at this point. But whatever this guy does, anything in this vein, I am there. I don't care if it's 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
So that one in particular, like any one of those, like whenever I'm editing this podcast, I need visual stimulation, so I put those on because I just stare at it and I look at like the clips and like, you know, like
you can pick it up at any point.
Because it's just like visual stimulation. Like after you watch it, you could just keep watching it over and over again because it just doesn't get old. So my number one is docuseries on HBO by Cullen Hoback, and it's Q, Into the Storm. Like, what the fuck? Like this, like, yo, let me tell you, this guy Ron Watkins, right? And his dad are like, you know, you watch this and obviously everyone's going to get something different from it, but you watch these people, in my opinion, pull off like the biggest like hustle. Like they just like duped all these people into thinking this fucking Q thing is it's just amazing how these two seem to really, I mean, they don't admit it, but it's amazing. It like every character in this documentary is weirder than the next. The message board planet that they all live on is so fucking weird. Like
and still alive and well.
Yeah.
Even after all this.
This country was almost undone by a guy who never met an Izod golf shirt that he didn't want to purchase.
Yeah.
And his Asperger's son.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
His pen collection.
And the little kid in the wheelchair guy, Fred.
Yes.
Yes. As Carla Okerson calls him, the cute potato.
Yeah. yes. He's it's like just the most amazing story. These people are like nerds of like the highest like order, and they just created this wreckage that it's like these people are playing like a game, like a cloak and dagger game, and they're all like in love with it, and it's just I can't
almost like it was too easy.
They made the idiot that sat in the back of your earth science class think that they had an inside track, like they were the smart person.
Yeah.
That's what they made happen.
Yeah. They
give you the blueprint. I can't wait to see what's next, which letter of the alphabet's coming next, and because this isn't over.
Yeah, it's an amazing docuseries that just, if you don't know much about it, it's fascinating. It's just like, if in a documentary, what you want is just to learn about something that's completely fascinating and slightly insane sometimes, and it just covers all the bases. Can't recommend it more. So Q Into the Storm. Man, this was a long 2021 best of. A lot of episodes, a lot of content that most people won't give two shits about, yet here we are.
We're influencers, you know.
Yeah, we're influencers.
We have to get it out there.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of people that are just waiting for these selections, you know. They need to carry these on into the next year. So Tim, thanks for checking in with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for honestly taking time from your golf. And
from my golf, I'm gonna go watch.
What's your handicap? That's what they say, right?
Yeah. What's your handicap?
I
don't even know what that means.
I'm not a good speller.
All right.
Never learned to read.
Do you use like an actual like putter, or like what Happy Gilmore used?
No, I use what Happy Gilmore uses. Actually, it's a field hockey stick. That's fine.
Okay, good. All right.
Do you have goofy pants? Do you have like goofy golf pants?
Of course you have goofy pants. What's the point?
I want you to dress like Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Every time.
Jackie Mason and Caddyshack too.
Jackie Mason.
Shout out.
Oh my God.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Later.
See you next year.
Bye.
Later.